So
For whom?
for AstraZeneca, we make Nexium. You probably see the commercials on TV.
No, I don't
Crestor,
watch TV.
Nexium.
I've heard of that.
Yeah. For acid reflux.
The pharmaceutical industry, of course, can be. It's sort of like they're looked upon as if there's either one side or the other. You know, either you're the lifesavers or you're the enslavers of all mankind.
Right. And our prices are way too high for everything.
Yeah. Now, what generic drugs are, of course, are a big issue with your.
Right, but that's not and that's what's happened. That's what's given the industry a bad name, because once the drugs, the patent has expired, let's say it's 7, 9, 12, 11 years, it's a unique drug, right? You put all this money into R&D to develop it, clinical studies, and that's why they give them that protection.
Yeah,
so you got to recoup that money, and then don't get me wrong, they probably start making profit on the second year, you know, and then they got 9 of exclusive. But what happens is when they go generic, you got these companies that just make the generic version of it, and in the first year they get the exclusives for 1 year to do well, they don't drop the price. They charge the exact same price we were with a brand name, and the pill's just pink, you know. But they can only do that for 1 year.
Now, how much does something like Obamacare come in and?
Yeah, Obamacare, what it did is it started subsidizing the insurance company. Say, look, you insure these people, we're going to guarantee you that you're going to get, and it's blowing up in their face because it's unsustainable. And the other big problem here, people don't realize, hospitals, the way they charge it. If you ever look at a bill when you go into a hospital, you know, the Band-Aid, it's out of control.
Right.
So the insurance company are saying, well, wait a second, that guy's in the hospital for 2.5 days. They start doing the math. It's like, that's why we have to charge a lot for premium. It's got to go down to basics, you know, like selling stuff that, and another thing that they did is they locked across state lines.
Yeah.
So I couldn't buy insurance from Louisiana and Florida. I had to buy. So in Florida there was only one, Blue Cross Blue Shield. So they had them, and they went through, and it's happening in a lot of states.
Now, the argument also about pharmaceuticals is, you know, there are 2 schools of medicine. There's one school of medicine that keeps, you know, you eat properly, you don't get sick.
That's the ideal. Eat in moderation, eat the right things, and exercise. And theoretically, most people will live long. But you also have bad genes, bad habits, you know. And you know. And that, unfortunately, the pharmaceutical company has come up with a lot of drugs to extend the life of people, because you got to prove it in the study that the people that were in that arm taking the drug.
There's also things that they've been accused of proving of to end people's lives. I mean, like Bayer aspirin selling, or Bayer selling the tainted AIDS vaccines. Yeah, you know, you heard about that?
No.
Oh, no. They were tainted AIDS vaccines that couldn't sell here, so they sold them overseas, knowingly knowing that. So they infected like 500,000 people. So, you know. Yeah,
I mean, those go to jail. Lock them up, man. Lock them up.
It makes it harder for you to sell stuff, you know.
No, you know, I've been blessed that I am working for a reputable company, and you know, they're scrutinized by the government left and right. Don't think it's, you know, our selling tactic. When I'm in front of a doctor talking, there's just certain things I can't even say to a doctor. That's out of control.
Really?
Oh yeah, I can't embellish my drug. Oh, by the way, doc, like I'll give you an example. I sold one for diabetes. It controls your A1C, but you lose weight and it drops your blood pressure. Okay, so it's called an indication. The government gives you an indication. Well, I only have the indication to lose the A1C, which is lower your blood sugar. But in the studies, it shows that they lose weight and that their blood pressure drops a little bit because you're urinating a lot. Well, I don't have the indication. So when I tell the doctor that, I go, by the way, doctor, and I show him my little sales piece. I go, look, I lose, you know, A1C, and I lose weight. Your patient may lose weight and blood, but by the way, I need to legally tell them it's not indicated for that. If I were Joe Schmo salesman, and I'm not because I've been doing this for so many years, I say, hey, doc, man, this guy's gonna lose weight. You know, you kind of sidestep, and then now you're just I took away the value because the doctor's going to look at me and say, I don't like the way he's selling. And the reps that sell that way.
Now, do you guys still drop off samples?
Yeah,
that
they sign and we
now,
ship it
there's
to them.
another two things. One is the vaccines. I mean, these things have been proven to be basically worthless because they're making them off of.
Yeah.
So that just seems like a big money-making deal. And then
there's a lot of people that will not touch vaccines.
Well, indeed.
Yeah.
For good reason. I mean, we're putting mercury in them and other things that, I mean, as I say, there's things that Merck has been caught doing incredible, horrible things, for profit. They just do for profit. And then
there was that one. Did you see the one that was on the? This was a couple of months back, where the CEO went in front of Congress. They hammered his ass big time. He had a generic version of an EpiPen. You know what an EpiPen is?
Yes, right.
When you're allergic.
Right. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah,
the EpiPen. Well, those have been out. It's already generic. It probably costs $20 to make the pen.
Right.
And they were selling it for $400.
Yeah, that was a big scandal. That's one of the ones. I mean, that was so obvious.
It was so obvious. It was so stupid.
That's why I know that's why it gives the whole industry a taints it because you've got these guys that will take advantage of whatever powers or rules or regulations or lobbyists. Because I mean, everything's like cancer drugs.
Well, there's rumors of that too, though, because we have an oncology division that they keep that on the lowdown and that they're slowing it down. By the same token, stop and think about it. If you're the first one with something out, you're the one that's going to make the most money.
Yeah, but
it's a catch-22.
They've shown natural cures for cancer.
Well, if you think about it, those drugs come from a natural.
Yeah, but they've shut them down. There was like one guy in Canada. Guy didn't even smoke marijuana, but he did start experimenting with marijuana, and he was making this elixir out of the marijuana. People in 4-stage cancer were getting cured in record time. They shut this guy down, accused him. They busted him. They come in and busted him for cultivating an illegal substance. I mean, they destroyed the guy. And he was curing people of cancer of this elixir.
I was in a doctor's office, and he's a buddy of mine. I've gone fishing with him a couple of times. And he was talking to his PA, his physician assistant, and he goes, "Oh, Mrs. Jones," just to say the name. She goes, "She's been smoking pot for 70 years, and she swears that everybody that comes into this office should be smoking."
Yes. Now, be honest with me. What percentage of the drugs you would say that are out there we really don't need? They're just there for profit. What would you think?
Yeah, 1 out of 4.
1 out of 4.
1 out of 4, because there's going to be some that I saw a commercial a couple years back. I couldn't even believe they sold a drug for that. RLS. Restless legs.
Yeah, right.
Are you kidding? I've been ADD since I'm 10 years old. Are you kidding? There's a drug for me. I mean, like right now, I want to walk. I'm going to go smoke. But I'm just saying.
From what I understand, there was something in Congress or somebody proposed that these commercials get.
Yeah, they get way out of hand.
Yeah, to put a lid on them because they were making shit up. I mean, do you get depressed? Well, who isn't depressed from time to time?
And it's funny when they have to prepare balance when they start reading the contraindications and the adverse events. It's funny. It's all sometimes you wonder, like, do I even really want to go? Hey, may cause diarrhea, suicidal effect. I'm like,
and here's another thing about the psychotropic drugs that the pharmaceutical push.
Yeah,
because you got 50% of the people now that get some. Like this last guy in Vegas found out he was taking psychotropic drugs. So you find out that all these guys have one thread in common. They all were taking psychotropic. And when you read the inserts, it tells you.
It gives you suicidal tendencies,
right?
Diarrhea, aggressive behavior. There's all kinds of it. It's crazy.
So again, would that be one of the drugs they're doing just for?
I don't know, because there are some things that trigger, and I haven't studied the brain as much as I've studied like the heart and diabetes. There are some that trigger to calm the person down, because
to get into the deeper, darker aspects of biotechnology and intelligence agencies and mind control, because even fluoride being put in the water, I mean, Hitler said, give me something I can put in the water that would, make it easy to control the people. And they found out when they started experimenting with fluoride in the concentration camps that IQs dropped as much as 20 points and the prisoners became more docile and easier to handle. So right after World War II, Project Paperclip wrote over 36,000 scientists, chemists, Nazi intelligence agents, put them to work for us, and then fluoride shows up in our water. It's there's that deeper, darker thing. Are some of the, because Mark, we're talking about all of them.
What was your name again?
Badass Uncle Sam. So we're talking about, it's a get out of jail free card from Hillary Clinton. So we're talking about all these, heavy firms, Merck and all, Bayer and all these German collaborators that are still in business that really didn't lose their ideology. They're still looking for ways to inject the people with substances.
That's why this thing now that comes out in the news, and they start with the dogs. Oh, the little chips to track your dogs. Pet, that's a bad. They want to do it with humans now. Man, I wouldn't put it.
They don't need to do that. We're walking around with cell phones.
Yeah, you got. You're right. All right, where does she go?
I saw her walking there. Yeah, I'll buy it.
You have a great day.
All right, yourself.